crazy story time. So, right after I graduated high school, I was on Tinder and I matched with this guy. I'm going to call him Drew. And I actually knew him from high school, so he wasn't like a total stranger to me, but we just didn't really talk in high school. So, now we're talking, and he was like, let's meet up this Saturday. And I was like, okay, yeah, for sure, let's meet up this Saturday. Well, I ended up like getting cold feet and ghosted him. And then months pass, right? Like it's like a month and a half passes. And I get some really bad news that two people that I was close to were shot and one of them died. And then I find out who did it. It was him. It was the guy I was supposed to go on a date with, and I didn't. What? Like, when everyone was like, yeah, it was Drew so-and-so, I was like, I was just talking to him. And then he went and shot two people I was close to. I can't comprehend that. I don't understand. Did I tell you guys I live in a bad neighborhood? Or, maybe not.
8 years ago, I reported my husband for the sexual abuse of our child. Here are some things that I think contributed to the swift arrest that resulted and the subsequent conviction. When my daughter first told me what happened, she was talking to me about something that had happened a while ago. So this wasn't a recent event, but it just happened to be when she told me about it. We were on our way to an art class of hers. I made sure to check with her and see if she was okay to still go to her art class or if she wanted not to. And she said she did want to. She wanted to kind of distract herself. And I also let her know before she went to her class that I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but that I could promise her that she was not going to have to go home and face him tonight. Whatever that looked like. So she went to her art class. I have almost no memory of the next hour aside from me just losing my mind in my car alone. I remember feeling like I couldn't breathe, like I was suffocating, crying, screaming. Eventually, I collected myself enough to be able to contact him and tell him, you need to be gone when we come home. I told him, she told me what happened. I didn't ask him.
Me meet boy. Me 15, freshman high school. Me meet boy. Me force boy to be my friend. Me boy like each other. Few months pass, maybe year pass. Me boy get together. Me boy start dating. Few months pass. Me have no period. Me didn't think anything of. Period's always been irregular. Me no think nothing of. Few months pass. Me start noticing small things. I'm more tired. Me eat a tiny bit more. Me getting out of breath walking upstairs. Me no think anything of. Me find it odd, but me no think anything of. Few months pass. Me about February. Me start noticing heartbeat below belly button. Me find weird. Me find very weird. Me in denial, so me ignore. Me then April. Now April. Me then start feeling movement in stomach. Me find very, very weird. Me in denial very badly. Me very scared. Me talking to friend about symptoms. Friend say, take test. Me friend go buy test. Me go back to her house. Now late night. Me take test. Test very positive. Very pregnant. Me freak out. Me cry. Me cry a lot. Me think, what me do? What me do? I'm 16. What me do? Me could not tell boyfriend yet. Boyfriend was asleep. Very late night. Me cry in friend's arms. Me go lay in friend's bed. Friend comfort me to sleep. Me wake up next morning. Me tell boyfriend. Boyfriend say, "What we gonna do?" I say, "I don't know." Me make decision to hide pregnancy. Me make decision to hide pregnancy. Me start wearing oversized clothes. Me start hiding stomach. Me hide it for about 2 months. Me friend convinces me to tell parents. I finally agree. Me write letter to parents. Me didn't know what else to do. So me write letter to parents. Me didn't know if mom found letter. Me come home from work one night. Mom in kitchen making supper. Like normal. Mom no let me know anything going on. Me carry on with usual activities. Dad come home. Dad come to cave from work. Me think, okay, they didn't find letter. It's okay. Dad do after work routine, same as every day. We all now sit on couch. My dad look at me and go, "We know." Me confused. Me say, "What?" And he goes, "We know. You don't have to hide it." And I start bawling. I start having a panic attack. Parents calm me down. Parents let me know gonna be okay. Parents not mad, a little disappointed, but excited. Parents more upset at fact I thought I was getting kicked out of cave. Me tell boyfriend, I tell parents. Me go few days later to tell boyfriend parents. Me tell boyfriend mom. She little disappointed, but she says it's gonna be okay. She's excited. Boyfriend dad have same reaction. Mom make appointment for me to go get baby checked out. Doctor tell me I'm measuring about 24 weeks. I go, okay, baby heartbeat strong. Baby heartbeat very strong. Baby healthy. Me go back to doctor next week for ultrasound. Me go to ultrasound. Me lay down on table. Ultrasound tech starts giving me an ultrasound. She goes, head measuring about 38 weeks. Parents and boyfriend almost pass out. Me very scared. Me did not know I was this pregnant. Me did not know I was this far along. Me found out I was pregnant about 6 to 7 months pregnant. Me go to doctor same day. Doctor tell me, wait. Me continue ultrasound. Baby very healthy. Baby a boy. Baby very healthy baby boy. Me then go to doctor after ultrasound. Doctor tells me they're going to induce me. Me not have same blood as baby. My body can start attacking baby. So they induce me. Me go Monday morning at 1 a.m. to be induced. 2 days later, we have very healthy baby boy. Me and boyfriend very happy. Parents very happy.
All right, story time. I just went on the worst date ever. Have I had worse dates? Yes, but this was like the worst I've had in a long time. Trigger warning, audacity, bad manners, and a broke man. All right, so this man and I have been texting for a few weeks now, and we were finally like, yeah, let's, meet up. And we went to a cafe near my house, and he did have to drive like 45 minutes. I was like, okay, I mean, as you should. Now, tell me why. I get there, he's already sitting down, right? And he got us a table. I'm like, okay, cool, great. But I walk in and he's already ordered himself a drink and it's like gone. And, you know, I said, hi, nice to meet you. I sit down. I'm like, oh, you already got yourself something to drink. And he was like, yeah, I love so-and-so and whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, now I'm thinking automatically, okay, so how's this gonna go? Because I'm gonna get a drink, right? Is he gonna stay seated? Like, I can't even imagine a situation in which he stays seated and lets me go get my own drink on a first date. Guys, let me tell you, he did. He was like, yeah, feel free to grab something. As if he owned the whole damn store and was like, help yourself to whatever. And was like, oh, okay. I see what this is. You're broke and you have no manners. How dare you invite me out and you can't even get me like a little drink or something. So I go get in line and I order, and I'm standing there waiting for my drink to come out because I'm not walking back and forth and whatever. And I've already made up in my mind, like, I'm gonna get my drink and I'm walking right out and leaving. And it's just funny because like the table he chose was right next to the door. And I'm sorry, maybe this is me just being judgmental, and it's coming from someone who loves books and reading. He brought a book with him. It had like a highlighter and he was like all up in that thing. I was like, on a date? It just felt performative, you know what I mean? So I texted my sister. I was like, hey, do you want any boba? You know, because I'm grabbing it to go, you feel me? So I got my order and I walked out of there, and I walked fast to my car because I was a little worried. You know, sometimes men be crazy, and I wasn't sure if he saw me or not, but I didn't even look his way. I got my ass out of there, and I went to my car, locked it, blocked him on everything, and I had to drive past the place to like leave, and I see him sitting in there like looking at his phone all hard. Like, I wonder where she could be. I wonder what's happened. You happened, sir. Like, come on. Yeah, in that situation, there's no need to have any sort of conversation. Just goodbye. You know, like, this is not what I want at all. This is not the type of man I'm interested in. And goodbye. So, yeah.
Guys, get ready with me while I tell you things that my ex did to me and I still stayed, but side note, I have a boyfriend, so I'm not going back, obviously. First off, I'm just going to give you the rundown. We were dating super on and off for about 3 years. We started dating November 2023, okay? And then we broke up May 2025 because he cheated on me. He started driving this girl's car. I was like, whose car are you driving? One of my friends. Are you sure? Can you send a picture? I'm sorry, that's very disrespectful to me. Why are you driving another woman's car? Okay, about the one of my friends part. She was in his class, in his Spanish class, and I texted her. I was like, hey, that's my boyfriend, by the way. Why are you letting him drive your car? Like, this is not okay. Left me on open, and I was like, okay, this is such BS. And then he decided to go to her house at the end of the school year, at the last day of school. And we were like, okay, this is so done. No. Here's the second time. Okay, we were hanging out. Obviously, we were doing some stuff because, you know, I just wanted to get him back. So I did things that I shouldn't have done to get that man back. And obviously, look where that ended up. And all of a sudden, I see a little text from his other ex, and he's just talking to her. And I'm like, why are you texting her when we're together? I had no self-respect at that time, obviously. So we're super on and off all that summer because just the cheating, the lying, I just thought it was disrespectful. So I was like, okay, I'm done. Like, you're not gonna do that to me. Okay, I was also with somebody at this time, November 2024. Yes, November 2024, sorry. I was hanging out with two of my friends, and we were having a sleepover at her house. And then I get a no-caller ID phone call, and I wonder who it is. Him and all of his friends end up deciding to pull up to her house because, well, she said, okay, guys, pull up. Like, if you want to do that, pull up. So then they all pulled up to her house. So basically now we were all at her house, and her little brother literally just hopped in the back of one of their cars. And so we're all like chasing each other around. Like, it's actually insane of what is like going on right now. Like, I barely remember any of it. And then he says some stuff to my friend, And then my friend says, that's why nobody here wants to you. And then he's like, yeah, your little friend did that, meaning me. And so I was just like, okay, what is going on? Because that is so disrespectful. That is so rude. Because why are you talking about a woman like that? Like, all he does is very lustful things. So then we do actually end up getting back together. And we're together for about, like, 4 or 5 months, okay? Until summer. And that's where I conclude because I am done getting ready. So part 2 will be coming.
Hello. Everyone, please keep scrolling unless you're the person that my ex cheated on me with and cannot leave me alone and stop saying my name and posting about me and messaging me and calling me and leaving me voicemails. Scroll, scroll. Okay, just us? Hi, Paige. What's up? I know you're here and you can say that someone sent you this video all that you want, but I know that you're a liar. So, the really sad and unfortunate thing is we could have been friends. We have a lot of things in common. We both have mental illness, depression, anxiety. We both like to garden. We both like animals. We both like going to concerts and traveling. We like photography. We both have anxiety. I think I might have already mentioned that. We both have a lot of things in common. According to you, the only thing we have in common is the person that I was in a relationship with, that you wish you were in a relationship with, that you were sleeping with behind my back. But, you know, that is unfortunately your opinion. Now, if you could please stop calling me, making fake accounts to view my profile, leaving me voicemails, making fun of my grandmother being dead, telling me that you're going to use me for fertilizer in my garden, making up nicknames for me, you know, just move on. That would be fantastic. It has been a long time now. I would really like to just put this in the past. We can stop lying, we can stop blame shifting, we can stop saying that it was all my fault because, you know, I have been mean to you. I'm not gonna lie. I'm quite fed up with the situation. So if we could just put it to bed, just tuck it right in. And, you know, because I've exhausted every evil plan in my filing cabinet from A to Y. I've ignored you. I've been nice to you. I have defended myself. I have begged you, please just come have a conversation with me. To no avail. So this is my last attempt. This is Plan Z. Plan Z, lemon scented. Leave me alone. I will leave you alone. Goodbye. Have a wonderful life. Please stop viewing my profile. Please stop posting about me and posting my pictures and trying to accuse me of things that you've been doing for the last 5 years. Thank you. Good night.
When I was a teenager, I worked at my aunt and uncle's tattoo shop, and one of the wilder, crazier experiences that I had happened when I was about 16 or 17 years old. My mentor, my uncle, who taught me to pierce, was nowhere to be found. And I had a girl come in who was requesting a below the belt piercing. At this point in time, I had never done one of those. I had no clue how to do one of those, and embarrassing as it is to admit, I didn't even fully understand my own anatomy and how to name and label things, let alone do that on somebody else and safely perform a piercing where I'm actively avoiding like certain tissues and nerve endings and things like that. So this client comes in. She's probably a couple years older than me, old enough to be getting this done. Mind you, she has no idea that I'm a minor. She comes in and she has with her her boyfriend, who is at least 25 to 30 years her senior. This man was old enough to be my great-grandfather, okay? Special guest appearance. So, sorry, baby. They come in and they're asking for a certain below-the-belt piercing. I set her up with paperwork, and I go to my handy-dandy trusted computer and YouTube, and I start looking up how to perform this piercing. Now, I'm not getting a lot of search results because this is YouTube, and I'm looking up something that's below the belt, and that's just, obviously, it goes against most community guidelines. I was reliant very heavily for this specific piercing on pictures and like one article that I could find that like it didn't even really explain how to do the piercing, just more or less like the location of the piercing, and why like people get it and stuff. So I take that little bit of information that I am able to gather, I come up with a game plan in my head, and I take the client and her boyfriend back into my piercing room. At this point, I have her strip down, lay down on my table, and I proceed to do her piercing. I had to ask her several times if I was in the right spot, if this was exactly what she wanted, and she said yes. She kept using the specific name of the piercing. I, at the time, had no freaking clue what she was saying to me. I, like, genuinely did not realize that she was naming the, like, you know how, like, people call, like, a labret piercing, like, snake bites or whatever? Very that, okay? She's using the, like, social media term name, and I have no clue what she's saying to me. I'm 100% doing guesswork, okay? So I'm trying to do the piercing, and behind me is this client's boyfriend, and he is making both of us incredibly uncomfortable. Again, nobody knows that I am a minor. Keep that in mind. Nobody is aware of the fact that I am a minor, because I was very heavily discouraged from like divulging that information to any of my clients, regardless of what they were getting. I was always told to like not necessarily lie about it, but like evade it. Okay, so he's behind me and he's making comments. First of all, he's making all kinds of like weird pleasure noises. Like, not that I think that he was like doing that or anything, but like clearly he's enjoying what he's seeing and what's happening in front of him a little bit too much. Okay. He starts making comments about how this might be the hottest thing that he's ever seen in his life, that he can't believe that he's got a front row seat to this. He goes on to say that he wishes that I could just close up the doors and that we could make it a different kind of experience. He asked me if I wanted to like leave my shift early and go get dinner with them. Like he made me incredibly uncomfortable. He made her uncomfortable the whole while that I'm trying to do this piercing, and like I'm ignoring him, right? He's saying all of these things and is not getting any sort of like a verbal response from me or his girlfriend in any way, shape, or form. Okay, so I'm like actively trying to do this piercing on her, no clue what I'm doing. I'm being sexually harassed in the background, and the whole time this poor girl's looking up at me like, sorry. And what is she even gonna do? Like, she's literally trying to deal with getting a needle shoved through a mystery part on her body. Like, it was crazy. I used the wrong kind of needle. I used the wrong kind of jewelry. I did actually pierce the correct spot, though. Now, whether or not that turned out to be a good piercing, couldn't tell you. I'm going to say probably not. Just looking back on things, probably not. You know, I finish up the piercing, clean her up, have her put her pants back on. All is well and done. She pays me. He did tip me pretty well. At least there's that. And they go on their merry way. A few weeks later, this client comes back and says that the ring that I used is uncomfortable and she would like me to swap her with a different one. This would be a natural time for a downsize, although at this point in time, I didn't even know what downsizing was. It wasn't something that we regularly practiced, and it is not something that I was taught to do. But if a client came to me and said, hey, this jewelry is uncomfortable, I would swap them with something different. I just did not realize at the time that what I was doing was downsizing people, okay? So she comes in, or she messages me and she says that, you know, the jewelry's uncomfortable, she'd like to come in and get it swapped. So she comes in and, you know, we go to swap the jewelry, and ironically, she's there alone. She tells me that, you know, they didn't break up or anything like that, that they're still together, but that whole situation was so uncomfortable that she felt that it was probably just best for her to come on her own. She was very apologetic. She was very, you know, very kind, very sweet to me. Yeah. And that was pretty much it. That was the last time I saw the client. And if you want me to be honest, that was one of the last handful of times that I have done a below the belt piercing. There is another experience where I have done a below the belt piercing without the proper training or information, where I did something way worse. This was the better of those few situations. Now, while I do have an understanding now of how to perform below the belt piercings, it's actually not something that I offer, because of the fact that I don't have enough like in-person experience with it having gone well. If I could learn how to do these under the guise of a better trained piercer, somebody who has a lot of experience doing them, in a heartbeat, I would go back to doing below the belt piercings. But the few experiences that I've had with it, where I just tried to trial and error my way through, I either harmed somebody or I ended up with a bad experience. And because of that, I've just kind of decided to stay away from them as a whole. Again, I've read enough about how to do them, but reading how to do something and actually physically performing something are wildly different things. So because I care about my clients, I will not pierce them below the belt. I will redirect them to somebody who has more experience doing that. But yeah, that was one of the just another day in the shop, I guess. That was another just wild experience that that I had there. I'll probably make a different video where I explain what happened with one of the only other below the belt piercings that I've done. That one was a mixture of failures through and through, and that was the one that really kind of put the nail in the coffin of, we are not doing this on anybody else until we are 100% sure we're doing this safely and correctly. Yeah. Also, let it be a disclaimer too that no piercer anywhere ever should be trial and erroring on clients without the client knowing, okay? If this is your first time doing a piercing on a client, they should know that. These clients did not know that. I was encouraged to not tell them that. I was encouraged to lie to my clients. Please don't do that to your clients. If this is your first time doing any type of piercing, for the love of God, don't charge those people. Maybe charge them for jewelry, but don't charge them for the service. And for two, disclose the proper information because it matters, okay? It's a health and safety issue more than it is about your ego. So just please be forthcoming and honest with your clients if you take anything from this video. Okay, love you, bye.
I can't do it! I can't do it! I can't do it! I can't do it! Lord, no!
I'm here with my brother. I had a gut instinct that my boyfriend was cheating on me because he's been so off and on and weird lately. And we drove to this spot, his location turned off. He's outside of a coffee shop right now with a girl cheating on me.
And he just reassured you everything about your whole relationship.
About how he was just going to be different and like not even about cheating, just like be better. So we're about to go catch him in the middle of cheating.
Left to fucking know. Left. I mean, did it to his ex-girlfriend. Cheated on her also.
Yeah.
Did the same fucking thing before she broke up with her ex-girlfriend.
Don't yell at her. It's not her fault.
Bro, fuck you.
Nate, like
You're such a coward. You're a coward little bitch.
2 days ago,
There's nothing right about you. You tell my sister everything.
I didn't reassure her last night.
Says.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I wish the worst.
Like
thing.
I
wish nothing.
Nate,
but
I have all the information. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Like I'm assuming Hinge, right? I'm assuming Hinge. Hey everyone, this is my cheating boyfriend. Cheating boyfriend won't have a conversation with me, and my brother's talking to the girl that he was cheating on me with. So if anyone ever sees him, his name's Nate. He's cheating. So I just had confrontation time with the girl, and she was so nice and understanding about literally everything. I caught the whole, like, a bunch of the stuff on video. Coward wouldn't talk to me, obviously, because obviously a cheater's not gonna talk to you, right? Because, like, what else can they explain when they get caught in the middle of a thing? So then he just sat there, and I blocked his car for a while, and then he ended up just driving off. Moral of the story is, follow your gut feelings. If you deep down feel like somebody is cheating on you, or you randomly have this urge of like, oh my God, something terrible is happening, go with your gut feeling, because God's not leading you in the wrong direction. And I just saved that poor girl from going through what I just had to go through and the person prior to me had to go through. Literally absurd. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, wow.
Hi, my name's Ava, and I'd like to share all the things my best friend said and did to me for 3 years. Starting off strong with number one, if I told her that I liked a guy, she would do one of a few things. She would either start texting him, start snapping him, which I didn't have Snapchat, so that was even better, or say one of 3 things. That they dated, which she meant they dated for like 3 days in 7th or 8th grade, that he sent her a pic, or that she just knew him because she knew everybody that walked the planet. That one wasn't that bad. Probably the least offensive thing that she's done. Number 2, I was pretty depressed my freshman and sophomore year, mainly the winter and spring of my sophomore year. But she said to me that I didn't know what real depression was like because I didn't have anybody that was close to me that killed themselves. Okay. Number 3, when I was depressed, I got a dog.
to give me some sort of purpose. So I would bring her in with me after school because she was in a cage all day, but I still wanted to help out with the trainer. We were student trainers, by the way. So even if I tried to not be friends with her, there really wasn't a way to get around it because we both helped out with the trainer. I started my freshman year. She started our sophomore year. Anyways, I would bring her in with me after school. And, you know, she was a cute puppy. So everyone was coming up to me, talking to me, asking to see her, pet her. And she would genuinely get mad. Like, she would make comments. She would tell people to go away because I was getting attention from the dog. And she wasn't. That one always just kind of makes me laugh looking back at it. Like, you're jealous of the dog. Anyways, number 3. There was a girl who started helping out who's a senior, but she was only there for like half the year. But, you know, we all became this little trio. It was great until it wasn't. So, you know, maybe it was like November. It was right after like all the fall sports ended. And they started like doing these things by themselves, which, you know, like I understand, like I don't have to be invited to every single thing, but it got to the point where like she was kind of like purposely throwing it in my face. Like she would take pictures or she would post things or she would purposely say things in front of me and I'd be like, well, why didn't you invite me? And every time she'd just say, well, we thought you were busy or we thought you were at work, so like we didn't ask you. Okay, but like why? How hard is it to be like, hey, are you busy today? But me and this other girl, like, we hung out sometimes, but we knew not to tell that girl. Because if we told her, or she found out, because, like, we didn't post about it, we didn't say anything, she would cry, she would yell at us, she'd tell us that we're purposely leaving her out, and that we're mean and we're not good friends. So we kept those things from her. But she would, like, throw these things in my face, and then just come up with excuses. So then, later on, the senior started dating this other guy, and then this other kid from another school got involved, and they became like a whole group of 4. And around this time, she also crashed her car. And I was taking I can't remember if it was after school or on the weekend or something, but I was taking a nap, and she said something along the lines of that if I was asleep and she had died, some part of it would have been my fault because I was sleeping. I still don't really understand that one, but whatever. So, like I said, this whole group of 4, they would, like, be on FaceTime together, like, all in a room, like, in front of me. They would all hang out without me, and whenever I would bring it up to this girl, I'd be like, hey, like, can you, like, kind of stop doing this, or, like, even just, like, invite me on a, like, one call. I'm not saying, like, every single call, but, like, just one. Like, can you guys just, like, please just include me? And every single time, she would just say, well, this guy, like, he's not, like, a nice guy. And, like, I don't want you to, like, have to deal with the things that he says. And, like, I don't think that we're going to be friends with him much longer. So why would I invite somebody new if I know we're not going to be friends for much longer? They were hanging out, like, every weekend. Like, nothing, like, fizzled out in the whole month that I was asking this. So then I got to a point where, like, I was going home crying every day. I was like, I don't know why you guys are excluding me this much. And I brought it up to these 2 girls, and, like, one of them, like, the other girl, like, she understood. She was like, yeah, like, I understand how it feels, like, I'll do better. But then this girl, the one in my grade, she was like, no. Like, I'm serious. If I would ask her, like, when she was on FaceTime with all them in front of my face, I'd be like, can you just include me in one call? She'd look at me and say no. But she told me, I was like, can I have a reason why you're not including me? And she goes, you know, I've just been having a really hard time with my dad dying while crying. Her dad died 5 or 6 years before. And I'm not trying to excuse grief, okay? Like, I understand that it's something that you live with your entire life, but if you knew this girl, that was the only excuse that she ever used. She would never take accountability for her actions. That was the only thing she used. And this other girl was a part of it. She can literally attest to everything that I'm saying. Anyways, that did end up fizzling out. I don't know when. I don't think anything else happened my junior year. I can't really remember, though. So then, our senior year, I could write an 800-page book of everything that happened our senior year, and I don't think that anybody would truly understand the amount of stuff that she put us through, the amount of mental anguish she put me, the other students, the trainer, administration, the coaches, the other students playing the sports. She put everybody through so much torment for literally no consequences. Anyways, starting off strong. First thing that happened our senior year. So I went on birth control because I have a lovely condition called endometriosis, but I didn't want anybody knowing because I didn't want them thinking that I was on it for the wrong reasons. I literally didn't even have my first kiss until 2 months before my senior year ended. So yeah, I think you get the idea that I wasn't on it for the wrong reasons. But yeah, I just didn't really want anybody knowing. It was the first game of the season, and I did a trust fall on her. And in front of the whole entire football team, she said, "Oh wow, that birth control is really getting to ya." Obviously, I turn around, I'm like, "What did you just say to me?" She goes, "I didn't mean it like that. You're taking it the wrong way." What other way is that to be taken? I literally had the teenage boys coming up to me saying sorry for what she said. Teenage boys coming up to me and saying sorry for that. Least offensive thing that she said to me that year, honestly. Anyways, so during preseason, the trainer came up to us and was like, "Hey, this new girl wants to join. Like, how would you guys feel about her joining?" I already knew this girl. She was like one of my best friend's coworkers. Like, I had her on social media. I was like, yeah, like totally she can join. Like, we need people in younger grades anyway because we're going to be graduating this year. And this girl was so against it. She was like, "No, I don't want her to join. Like, she's going to ruin our senior year." And I was like, "Why? Like, what's the issue?" Eventually, she told the trainer, she was like, "Ava's going to start excluding me. They're going to become like a little duo, and then she's going to forget all about me." You could just include her too. We can all be a group. I don't understand where this excluding is coming from when you did the exact same thing to me. Anyways, so she joined, and I was doing my best to include her in everything. And this girl borderline bullied her. Like, she was mean to that girl. She was so mean. And she was younger, and like, she's pretty introvert. Like, she did not stand up for herself. So I would stick up for her. And I remember one time at one game, I think it was the first game that she ever showed up at, we told her, "Hey, we're all going to wear this shirt, this long sleeve shirt." Okay? We told her that because she was very adamant that if we were all mismatching, that she, if we wore different, she'd feel excluded. So we told her, "Hey, wear this shirt." So we get to the game. It's like kind of cold. We're like, "Hey, we're going to go change in the shirt." And she's like, "Oh, I didn't bring that one." We're like, "Oh, well, we told you to bring that one and we're cold, so we're going to go change." So we go and change, and we come back to find this girl screaming at the trainer and the coaches in the middle of the field, in between both football teams practicing. So I come out, I'm like, "Oh God, I just know this is going to be bad." She starts cussing me out, saying that she knew this was going to happen, that I'm excluding her, and that I only hang out with her, and that she's the only one that's nice to me, whatever. Like, I was like, "Girl, what are you saying?" Also, this girl was boy crazy. Like, any place that we went, she'd be like, "I think he's looking at me. You think he wants my snap?" Girl, I don't know. I don't really care. But as soon as a boy said he wanted to join, she was like, he was 15, by the way. She was like, "Oh yeah, I love him. He can join. Yeah." Girl, we know what your prerogatives are. Okay, I'm going to make a part 2 because this is too long.